Hi, Jim.
Oh, hi, Jim. Yeah, you have done marvelously well today,
Thank you.
as they say. Yeah, you have done it. I tuned in early just to make sure that Mike was working because in my other program, AI was artificial intelligence. You probably picked up.
Yeah, I figured out what you were doing. Yeah.
So I'm here for questions. I jumped on early just to be around.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for your help.
Sure thing. Yeah, I'm watching you on my screen right now. It's wrapping up. Jordan's here too. Hey, Jordan.
Hi.
So yeah, you have about 20 people watching on YouTube right now, so they'll all pop over. I'm sure a lot of them will pop over here afterwards. I put a note in the chat there. They can come over here.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
I'll just sit tight here and take whatever questions there are. Is Jordan going to be coordinating that, or how do we do it?
Yeah, Jordan's here just for backup in case you need any help with anything. Yep.
Well, I never need any help.
Awesome. I'll sit back and watch.
You'll be happy to know too, Jim, that we talked about this proposal at the steering committee meeting yesterday and it got approved. So you are officially doing the program.
Oh, you mean
the ambassador program? Yeah.
Oh, fine. Okay. Well, I need to talk with Zubert or someone on that because there are some items I put into this manual that I haven't gotten any approval on. So I'm going to be a little sketchy on it today, but we'll talk about that after the program.
Yeah. We can. I'm happy to help out or facilitate that with Robert. Facilitate a conversation with Robert on that.
I really feel important. It's important to do. We don't have any ambassadors, and there's a lot of technology out there. People are relating it very wonderfully, but to get to the audiences, we're going to need something else.
Absolutely. All right. It looks like it just wrapped up. So we have a couple people streaming in. Looks like Dusty just joined.
All right. Dusty Green. All right. So we have a few minutes for questions.
Yeah.
And I'm open to them. Maybe I even have some answers. I don't know. But you can. Is it Jordan? Was it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Jordan, are you going to field questions, or just want people to unmute themselves?
I think that if people raise their hands, if they got a question, and we can sort of, I'll name them, and then they can unmute themselves.
All right, fine.
That'll be a good way to do it.
Sure.
So if you've got a question, then please raise your hands using the reactions feature on Zoom. All right, Dusty, yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question.
All right, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine, Dusty. Thank you.
Very good. Well, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. It's my first time doing anything with the Mars Society, but the Angry Astronaut, a YouTuber, kind of put me on. I've known about it and followed it on Twitter and other things, but this is the first time I interacted.
Yes. Yes.
My question is, what I know in the past these yearly things were an in-person event, and we, of course, from the pandemic have to do it this way. But
right,
what are some other ways that this can be done physically, other than just talking? I guess is my.
Well, that opens up a door here for the Mars Society ambassador. We have not had an ambassador before, not officially, and we're forming that now, getting some interest through people like yourselves. I see Roger Gilbert's in there, and he's got some ideas along those lines. I'm thinking that one of the things I'm proposing is to go out. One of the first things Robert Zubrin said this morning is we need to have more buy-in from the general public. And as I said on the program, we've been getting in with our cliques. We're talking about and then singing to the choir, but we need mass buy-in. So how do we get out there? I've been out there doing a lot of talking about Mars and other things for quite a while, but I don't know of anyone who is really going out there and connecting with an audience on a one-on-one basis. Now, that's obviously not a convention like you're speaking of. I'm sure there are other ways, and someone can add to this comment, but I really feel it's important that we express ourselves in a dumbed down way, forgive me. There's a lot that was shared this morning on very interesting. I'm fascinated with all of this, but much of it is over my head, and I'm sure over the heads of most people. You ask people often, what do you think of the Mars program? They have no idea what you're talking about. I'm glad we've had William Shatner to lift the level just a little bit, and I'm not quite clear on how I can answer how we can create. Are you saying a convention or something that we would actually get together?
Yes, and it was a little bit of a question I already have an idea for, but I just was wanting to field it to other people to see what they think. And to me, experience, huh?
Mars Society chapters would be one way. We hold meetings periodically, and that's one thing to get together. And go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. And I do know there's the one experimental location where the people go and actually experience what it might be like to live on Mars.
Sure, yes.
And that's what I'm wondering if that can be expanded more to the greater public so they can actually experience what the life of it would actually be like. That's kind of.
I think there have been areas open in the Mars Desert Research Stations and things of that nature, but that's something I'll have to check on. I'm not familiar with it. You might want to check as a question with the Mars Society, or give them an email or something like that, or I can find more out about it and give it to you if you want to contact me with my email at james@jamesmelton.com. So let me just leave it there if I might. And Roger, your hand is up.
Yeah, well, I might suggest, can you hear me, first of all?
Definitely.
Okay, good.
You're hard not to hear.
I'm sorry?
You're hard not to hear.
Oh, well, good. The Space Tourism Society is a group, Dusty, you might look into, and they talk about the experience economy and everything like the ongoing private space flights, Earth-based things, even the Star Wars experience at Disney fits into that space experience. People have talked about doing a Mars experience. There's the Mars Desert Research Station at the Mars Society operates, which is very immersive, but it's also a personal experience. It's not for the wider public. In a way, it's preaching to the choir,
Yes.
Which, James, I wanted to ask you about. My question was, I know we both have seen Dr. Zubrin preaching to the choir very successfully. He's really the chief ambassador for many, many years of Mars. And I'd like to get your short list, or maybe long list, of who are the target audiences for a Mars ambassador. Do we go to the local schools? I'd say, in my experience, 5th graders through 8th graders are great. They're ready for science opportunities. They're not distracted by the teenage life and things that happen then. But also, are there local Rotary groups or business groups, or, of all the people you've spoken with, who do you see are the target markets for ambassador talk?
I do see all of the above. I find that we're actually organizing a lecture tour, my wife Dana and I, for next year to colleges and high schools, but I think I'm going to focus mostly on colleges, maybe because of the attention spans and things of that nature. However, these are the people who will actually be going. So I feel that's important. But on the broader spectrum, you hit the nail on the head with the Rotary clubs, the Kiwanis clubs, the Lions clubs, the Gardens clubs, the women's clubs. I spoke to these 250 women in Denver last January, and I was overwhelmed with their interest in this subject. They actually asked me to speak on the topic of Mars. So there is interest out there, but a lot of people don't really know what's happening and where to go. So yeah, the clubs, I think, would be a major start. So let's just move to Dusty on that.
So you had mentioned clubs, and that's actually the idea that I had, and hopefully somebody is interested in maybe pursuing this. But a lot of RV clubs are, to me, one of the best suited groups to go after, because for one reason, they're already used to living in a small space. And another reason, a lot of them are there's actually a group called the escapees.
All right.
And so they're escaping certain types of sort of the norm living. And so I think that they're really an ideal group to go after. And my joke that I put on Twitter all the time is what else is going to Mars other than the most extreme RV trip ever?
Okay, that's an excellent point. And every week, these clubs need a speaker. And sometimes the groups are small. I've spoken with a lot of Rotary groups, and not much during the pandemic, but I've done a number of Zoom calls with the Rotary clubs during the pandemic. And I believe that with proper separation and consideration for the COVID, many of these Rotary clubs and Kiwanis and service clubs are, in fact, holding meetings in person. So it just takes a telephone call to say, I'd like to speak with your program planner, and I'd like to connect. Now, we've created a manual, and there is going to be some criteria here as far as what we need so that we're kind of consistent in our message. We can't be representing just anyone and everyone who wants to go out there and talk about what they're doing. So if you email me, I will get some of this information in your hands, Dusty, and then we can take it further.
Okay, sounds good. I will find you on the
just James at jamesmelton.com will be fine.
Okay.
That'll work. Okay. I know we're here after 5. You're so welcome. A delight meeting you. This will not be your last Mars conference, I'm sure.
No.
I'm sure you enjoyed many of the speakers beforehand.
Yes, I've watched a few so far.
And hopefully you'll pick up the ball and go out there and do some of these yourself.
There we go. I hope so.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
All right. Nice to meet you, James.
Thank you so much. Likewise. Anything else before we wrap it up? I know that I don't want to tie you up for other programs. It's after 5. Anyone at all?
So just thank you for this, James, and keep me on the list. I'm eager to participate.
And I'm very interested in Welcome to Mars.
Yeah.
So we'll need to talk about that as well.
Let's do it. Okay.
All right. Again, I thank you so much for joining in. It's been my pleasure. We will be in touch and enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you very much, James.
You're welcome.